Welcome to Eastern Voices, a show where we get to showcase the lifestyle, experiences, successes, struggles, and challenges of people in the eastern region of Nigeria. I am Happy Moyi. Today we have a business expert, a man with a lot of achievements and feats to his name, the CEO of NGOBROS Nigeria Limited, and also the president of SESIMA, who is no other person than Mr. Humphrey NGONADI.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so delving right into what we have for today. Can you give us a brief background of your birth, your education, and your childhood? So how was your childhood like? Where were you birth and your school life? Generally everything about your growing up days.
Well, thank you for having opportunity to have me in your program. I'm glad about it. Then coming about my birth, my name is Mr. Humphrey NGONADI. I'm the last son of my father. My father died when I was 3. I don't really know him very well. When I was growing up, I used to know that my father was very rich. By then, he was a money exchanger when they were using ego ayola, not the kind of money we have today. And he is also a money lender. But unfortunately, when he died, nothing was left for his children. And incidentally, I come from a polygamous family, of which my mother is the last of them. And the life wasn't easy for us as we are growing. But that notwithstanding, I will say that the grace of God was upon me from the childhood. Because you are asking about my educational background. I stopped at primary 6. I didn't go beyond primary 6. And unfortunately, the time I have opportunity to go back to school, at least attend the evening schools and upgrade myself, I couldn't do that. And even for me to get to primary 6 wasn't that very easy, except that God chose our will. How did it happen? When I was that small, our school fee was then about 1 and 6. That's when we are asking the school to go and bring our school fee. If I got home, then because my mother doesn't have, those who are my mates within my compound, our father will give them. And I'll be asked to go and meet my mother. Then my mother doesn't have. And she will send me to go and fish palm kernel. And after farming, when people are putting their yam, that the one they mistakenly doesn't find, or the one that break into the ground, when the early rain fall, they begin to spring up. So it's part of my then I go into the bush while others were in school. I'll be fishing those things, fishing palm kernels, which when I got them home and gathered that much, My mother will sell them. At the initial stage, the promise would be to use it to pay my school fee. When others were in the school, I'll be doing that. And suddenly, you cannot blame the poor woman when they were sold and there is nothing in the home to eat. And you talk about paying school fee. The money will be diverted to use to buy something to eat. So it was like that. So it wasn't easy for me to go to school. I spent 2/3 of my time to do those other things and possibly 1/3 to be in the school. But God still very kind. At the end of the time, I still make it. But God was so kind to me. I didn't stay much with that. I will not tell you the background story, how I got to some people who paid my school, but I will just tell you about them. Then one day, I decided to send a firewood to my teacher. And my teacher, I don't know where they live, but at least I have an idea of the area. So on a Saturday, normally those days, the teacher will order that the members, the people in the class will fetch firewood, which is compulsory. If you don't do, you receive punishment. But this one is not that.
Okay, so this one came as a gift.
It's a gift. I decided on my own to send the firewood to my teacher. That's where my miracle started. So I sent the firewood, and where we are living was very far away from where the teacher lived around Amunko, Onitsha Road, very close to Amunko, Jemekwe family. So when I got up there, I entered into Benson Osigwe family, where you have a friend, where you have Obiora Osigwe as the owner of the compound today. Then there is one of my daughter, because we belong to that family, but we are living very far behind Obiofia Mbanese.
So like the same kindred?
Yes, we are the same kindred. So I entered there. One of the daughters took me to the teacher's house. So when I got there with the firewood, the teacher warmly received me, being very pleased that on my own I brought some firewood. And incidentally, the teacher was living with a woman who was the godmother of the teacher. The teacher was what I would like to say, orphan like me.
So was it a male teacher or
a male teacher?
Okay.
So he was living with, the teacher has no mother, no father, and the woman brought him up. And after his standard 6, he became a teacher. So he now called the woman and said, "Nwa akwụkwọ mbutekwala m nkụ." That means my scholar brought some firewood, and the woman was so pleased. Then after dropping the firewood, I wanted to go. And they said, no, I should not go, but I should wait. When I wait, they give me a very raffish entertainment. At least they gave me tea.
That was a big deal to you.
And of course, I have never taken tea before that day.
Wow.
It was the first time of having tea.
That was a breakthrough.
So after taking the tea, I didn't know Ovaltine was the popular tea. After taking tea, Ovaltine, then in a hurry to go, they said I should still wait. Yet I wait behind. Before afternoon, it was a very hot rice. And it's like heaven is already on the earth for me.
That was like your Christmas day.
So, of course, from where I come, we don't eat rice except 2 times in a year.
Wow.
So I now took the rice. After eating, I ate the rice. After eating, I was to go. And the teacher gave me 1 shilling. So I was so happy getting home and presented the 1 shilling to my mother that my teacher gave me 1 shilling. And my mother says, no, that nobody can give her son 1 shilling. That is impossible.
Why was she in doubt?
Is anybody, we know our background. How can somebody give the son of such wretched woman 1 shilling? So my mother said no. That nobody can give 1 shilling to his son. That I will kill her, that I have stolen the money. And exactly the next day, she took me that I must go and show him who gave him 1 shilling, that she doesn't want to get into problem with anybody. So that her fear is that when they were looking for the money and possibly they trace it to me, and that she's not prepared for the wahala. So I can't trace the place. We went through the same formula through the person who led me to the place before. Then the person took us to the place. When we got there, if you look at the face of my mother, you know that she's bittered. So when the teacher saw us, she got afraid. And my mother asked him, did my son come here yesterday? He said yes. That I was there yesterday. And he asked him, what happened? The teacher said nothing happened. Because the question my mother put, what happened?
That's not really specific yet.
The teacher said nothing happened.
That's not really specific.
So it was a kind of battle between my mother and the teacher until my mother asked, did you give him anything? He said, yes, I give him 1 shilling. And my mother's face turned. She started rejoicing, thanking the teacher, doing everything. And started taking me back home. But I wasn't following her. I was following her in flesh, but my mind was far away from her. So when we got home, she went out to fetch some bitter leaf she will use to cook. At least there is money in the house, which she can now lay hand on and make a good soup, and there is so many things. So when she went to fetch bitter leaf, then I packed my things and leave the house for the teacher's house.
Oh, wow.
I'm not related to the teacher. From my story, I don't know them.
Yes.
From Adams, I don't know them. We are not related. Only we meet at the school. So I packed my things and run back to the teacher. Got in there. The teacher got afraid again and asked me why. I said, I want to live with you. And the woman, Mama Dr. Onyemekwe, Mama Joel Onyemekwe, you may know Dr. Efensi Onyemekwe. So you may know that family now. That was the woman P1 Onyemekwe. So when Mama come out and ask me, I tell her my story that I want to live with her. She said, okay, keep your bag, you will live with us.
Wow. And
send message to my mother. Then that was the time she has time to trace from where do I come. Okay. Then when I tell her, she sent message to my mother. For my mother to know that I'm with her and that he's living with me.
So then, talking about that, sir, Like, tell us which like your native. Where exactly are you from, sir?
Well,
What parts?
okay. So from this story, I will tell you. So you now send. I'm from Obunonewish, and we live at Mbaneze. Mbaneze is behind Obiofia. There is a place they call Mbaneze behind Obiofia, very close to Mediago. So if you are to go to my father's compound from Semas, you continue going down, get to the Bize, you take the road by the left, you get to my family place. So when my mother refused that I will not live there, I refused, I will not go back. And that's where my story changed. So they now took me as their son. Up till today, Billionaire Hakon Engineering still call me his brother. His sons call me uncle. Till today, the children from that family call me uncle. Because when I was living there, you wouldn't know that I wasn't born and bred in that family. So they started paying my school fee. And that's how I could get to primary 6.
Wow. That's a huge miracle.
Otherwise, I would have not go beyond primary 1, 2. That's how I got to primary 6. We were in school when we changed from standard to primary. So now, when I was in the primary school, I thought I would be a doctor or a lawyer. My teacher used to call me a lawyer.
That's usually every child's dream, to be a doctor.
My teacher used to call me a lawyer, but when I meet Dr. Mekwe, I changed my mind that I would be a doctor. And that was my dream. And I never knew I would be a trader. I'm in a business I hated. When I got to primary 6, by then you used to choose the school you want to go. So I took exam for federal government and other schools. When the result came out, I passed about 2. I meet who I will not mention them, who I expected that would pay my school fee, not the family I was living with him, my relations who are supposed to pay my school fees, that unless if it's federal government. By then, federal government result has not come out, and I thought the world has turned against me. But when the result of federal government came out, accidentally I passed. Full of joy, went back to him and he said there is no need to train a boy, that I should go and look for what I will do.
Oh.
And the whole world seemed to turn against me.
Oh, wow.
And by then,
that was actually the opposite in those days. Like, boys are mainly trained and girls are.
However, it depends on who supposed to train me.
Okay.
It's my half brothers. We didn't come from the same womb.
Okay.
So when I have that disappointment, I feel the world has come to an end. And a lot of people were coming to take me as an applicant. I turned everything down because I never wanted to be a trader or anything except to be a doctor or a lawyer.
So, if I may cut you short a bit, like your story is so touching, and but I think we would like to know about, like, since you talked about how you were going into the line of business.
That's where I'm taking you.
Sir.
I was home doing some manual jobs. I joined people that molding block to gather money to go to secondary school. Going around working all kind of labor to raise money for secondary school. And within 6 months, I had gathered enough money to go to secondary school. But by then, I had to wait to sit for another exam. So it was that time that I asked myself some questions. Suppose you sit again and pass and use that money, who will continue the school fee? Then I accepted to go for an apprentice, which I went. Then first to a relation to Jos. Within 6 months, the war broke down and we came back. When we came back, I couldn't do any other thing until when I went back to my half brother, who I lived on with.
So
And
please, at what age were you when you had to go all the way to just for the apprenticeship? Can you remember the age you were at that time?
Yes, I can remember because that would be when I was about 15. That would be when I was 14, 15.
Wow. So did you travel with a relative or you went all the way by yourself?
To Jos,
Yes, to just.
it's a relation. Then we stayed in Onitsha until the war chased us out of Onitsha. And immediately the war chased us out of Onitsha, my brother, who was in army, took me and kept me safe, that I wasn't conscripted into army. I was living in army camp throughout the war until the war ended. In fact, before the war ended, we were in Uguta. I trekked from Uguta to Nnewi the morning that war ended. And immediately I come home, before my master could come out for the market, I used to come to the market, first of all, we begin to go to Anambra area to buy gari and so many things which we brought home and sell. I made little money out of it. Immediately after the war, from there, then because of the experience I have in motorcycle parts where I do apprentice, and by then spare parts was very scarce. I used to know that if you bring this, you can use it in this. So, and such when somebody might come and be looking, then I know that this motorcycle there is motorcycle that are called AJs, Triumph AJ, and I know that the ring of that particular motorcycle will fit in that engine. There is little thing you file out of it and it fit. So, and you sell it, you can get 3-4 times price of it. You collect it from who has it, and the person who has it doesn't know that you will use it the other place. But because of knowledge you have, experience and knowledge you have in those things, you sell it. And within this, I make some money.
So who was your master at that time?
Before my master would want me to join him back, which I wasn't very much willing, but being compelled by my brother to go back, then I went back and stayed with him. By then I have about 10 pounds
Of your own?
of my own, and he brought 40 pounds. I gave him my 10 pounds. We used it to start motorcycle class, and we does that until when I was to settle. I won't say about other things. When I was got to settled in 1972, I was nearly left empty-handed. But I made a lot of name for myself when I was living with him. And what gives me name is what you know today. Those who were in Anglican Church or who are close to Anglican Church, we know what is called ACM.
Okay, yes, the Anglican Children Ministry.
Yes. If there is founder, I'm the founder. But God is the founder, not any human being. At least the retired Archbishop of Anglican Church will tell you.
Okay. Wow. That's a whole big deal.
If there is a founder, I am the founder.
Wow. Wow.
By then we used to call it Anglican Store Boys Association. And the first priest that take us to the church is Reverend Esena Akowa, who is my priest at St. Mark's Church. So I went to St. Mark's and tell him what we are doing. How we started, I will take your time telling you how we started. So let me leave that end. So that Anglican Store Boys give me a lot of name to so many masters. Somebody like Joe White and the rest of them, they love me so much because of what they know my character to be. So when I was kind of settled, then all these people rally around me to help me, including that Dr. Efsensi Onyemekwe, who gave me good money also. Then I started business. When I started, I was in, we are 4 to share a shop.
So was this the same spare parts?
Yes, I started with motorcycle spare parts, mobile parts, and so on. We started that way. That is a story I will tell you. This period I started business, there is what is known as Awa. Awa mean, by then, goods used to come in cases from overseas. They pack it in cases and pack it in ship. And some thieves went into the high sea and broke those cases and brought those goods with a small boat. So when they bring it out, they sell it. It's called Awa. Awa meaning taking it away from the container. Awaje, so which means taking from there. So that's the popular name it gives. That was what was in reign when I started business. But I choose to myself that I will never buy it. And a lot of people that were into it, you see them fast rising. Then I have a life where I live. I was sleeping in store because when I was with my boss, I was sleeping in store. When I started business, I was sleeping in store. But what was my reason for sleeping in store? In order to manage my money that I cannot spend money. So even when I know that some of the people that we are living, found room or 2 rooms and living, are richer than them.
Oh, wow. So you were saving a lot.
But I was still sleeping in the store. We are 3 in the store. One person is taking half of the store, another person is taking 1/4. I'm taking a 1/4. So what happened in the evening, when we close, they will go. Then I will just go and eat. And I have fixed amount of expenses. In the morning, I just eat. In the morning, I drink water.
That's quite a huge discipline.
And why?
It's not easy on a daily basis.
And why do I eat water in the morning? Started when I was serving my master, because when I was serving my master, the money I'm being given for feeding is not enough for me. So I choose to myself that I will keep them and eat once and eat enough. So when I started, the money has been there, but I continue with that in order not to spend much. So in the morning, I will take water. And by the way, I'll be the first Oga to be in the market. Why am I the first Oga to be in the market? Because I sleep in the market. 5 a.m. I wake up, take my bath, dress up, just rubble my mat, hide it. That if you come there, you will not know, you will not see it. Then pack my cloth in a carton, put it in the counter. So if you see my cloth, you will think it's goods.
I guess your quantities would have been small.
Yes, so I will sleep in the store. Then on Sunday, only on Sunday that I goes out. Early hours on Sunday, I will go to church. After going to church, I will rally around, and in the evening I go back to store. Why was I still sleeping in store when I know I can pay for a house? Is because I can't give you Fanta. I can't give you anything. If I now live in a house, I will begin to have some visitors, I begin to have girlfriends, I will begin to have all this kind of thing that will be taking my money. Even those my mate, I don't go to beer parlor with them. You know why? If I go to beer parlor today, they will give me, tomorrow they will give me, another day they will want me to give them. Then I will spend the money I don't want. I'll spend the money I don't want to spend. So my expenses was static. What is my expenses in the afternoon? That amount I eat in the afternoon is what I eat. That those people eat meat and those, it's not for me. I just eat that amount of food I eat in the afternoon. In the evening, that amount, my expenses is static. It never goes above that any day. I don't take soft drink, I don't buy in, I don't give, I don't take. So you will not give me, I will not give you. And I don't take on my own, I take water.
So like
that's where I was going. So what was my reason I was growing my money? Then ask me how I found a house I live.
Yes, and I want to also know like how long your business lasted before you were able to diversify into other business channels.
Okay.
How long did that spare parts business last? And are you still into it as of now?
Well, let me say what I'm doing now. Then we are in that business, and that business continue growing and growing and growing and growing until the day one of my customer came and was Levi, was his name. So in the evening around 3 o'clock, he came to me and said, Oga. But they call me Oga, they don't know I was still orchestra. He came to me and said, Oga, I cannot go, I will sleep. And he doesn't know that he was talking to us sleeping in this.
Oh, so he was having expectation of sleeping in your house?
In my house.
Oh, no.
So I now run to Hotel Shimezie. His shop was opposite my shop, and he was living somewhere. I run to him and said, open guy. I said, he asked me what it is. I now tell him the story. He said, since we are telling you to go and look for a house, you remain in store. Okay, make you sleep in store with you. Then we come with a remedy. He said, where they are living, that there is still one room there.
Oh, wow.
So he took me on his motorcycle. We went to the man, Olasin, at Obunotolo. Then I paid for a room. You know the one who has a California hotel, like a what?
Okay.
So we went to him. I paid for the room for 6 months. Then I went to the market, buy bed, buy mattress, buy everything for living in a house. Within 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock, I furnished the house.
Wow.
Went back in the evening, I went to the house with Livy. We slept in the house, collected water from our neighbors, which we use in the morning. We left together I locked the house, went back to store. I didn't come back to that house.
That night you didn't go back?
I didn't go back. If I go back, I'll begin to receive visitors and I begin to spend money.
It's quite serious.
So I didn't go back. I don't want to spend money because I was doing everything to grow my money.
Yes.
So I started sleeping in the store until after a long time. I decided that I would be sleeping in the store until Saturday evening. On Saturday evening, I will go and sleep in that house. On Saturday and Sunday, on Monday, I go back to the market and started sleeping in the store again. That's how I continued until my business grew. Then, even though I know a lot of people, like I say, a lot of people that live comfortably in a house, I have more money than them. I know I have more money than them, but my background is not same with them. If anything happened to me, I won't have a place to lay back on. If they have who will assist them. I don't have anybody to assist them. So I was on my own growing. Then, but in then, I still have interest in being an industrialist. I thought I will grow money to become an industrialist on my own, but I have a lot of misfortune. What happened is when my money grew, one thing will come and took away the whole money. The last of them was 1985 when I lost everything I have.
Wow.
Because I was importing goods through confirming house. And I paid, by then I have been so familiar with the confirming house that they don't collect deposit from me again. Once I book goods, they book the goods and ship the goods. But before you take the documents, you will pay. So when the documents came, I borrowed money from everywhere and paid. Unfortunately, one Taiwan motorized company I met in Japan. I met in Taiwan. Because I went overseas in 1978. In 1978 was the first time I traveled from Enugu to Lagos to Switzerland, Germany, because I have business in Germany. Then Germany went to Tokyo, Osaka. Went to Osaka from Tokyo to Osaka back to Taiwan. In 1978, that was the time I started traveling. Then in Taiwan, I met a company that is called Taiwan Motorized. I wasn't doing business with them. We met and they took me to the office. And the goods they sold to me, they just reduced very little amount from what I used to buy. I thought they were genuine. And do business with them, not knowing that it's a company. So they were looking for where to get money to pay their debt. So I fell into them.
You were a victim.
And they duped me.
Wow.
They shipped empty cases to me.
Oh my God.
And the day I received these goods was the day Ikedife was giving a reception at Unquote Triangle as liaison officer to Shagari administration. That was the very date those empty cases was brought. And when I was informed that my goods has arrived, I went home to see my goods only to notice that it's empty cases. That day I was with Peter Siwe Corner. I was Peter Siwe Corner. He's the one, because he was a very close brother and friend. In fact, Peter Sigwe and my friend, three of us were the closest brother and friend.